today's mindful moment. All right, so we're diving into the life and music of Joni Mitchell today. We'll be using David Yaffe's biography, Reckless Daughter.
It's going to be interesting to see what Yaffe uncovers.
It seems like everyone knows Big Yellow Taxi.
Right.
But do we really know Joni Mitchell?
That's the question, isn't it?
Let's find out.
It's amazing how Yaffe peels back the layers, reveals a side of Joni most people wouldn't expect.
I mean, talk about a journey.
Oh, yeah.
From a small-town girl in Saskatchewan.
Right.
To a Grammy-winning musical innovator.
It really is quite a story.
And I think that's where we should start. Saskatchewan.
Okay.
It's hard to imagine a landscape more different from, like, the Laurel Canyon scene she became so associated with.
It is quite a contrast.
What impact do you think those wide-open prairies had on her?
It's funny you should ask that. The contrast is actually key to understanding Joni Mitchell, I think. See, her childhood wasn't just about those vast landscapes.
Right.
It was also about community.
Uh-huh.
Close-knit.
I see.
Connection to nature.
Okay.
A sense of independence. All those things really shaped her.
Her artistic vision.
Exactly.
And then, of course, there's the polio.
Right.
Diagnosed at 9. Must have been terrifying.
I can't even imagine.
Not to mention physically challenging.
Absolutely.
Do you think that experience influenced her art?
Absolutely. Yaffe actually suggests that polio ignited a fierce determination in her.
Really?
A refusal to be limited. You can see it in her early artistic endeavors.
Like what?
Even something as simple as copying Picasso and Matisse.
Wait, hold on. Before music, she was into visual art.
Oh, absolutely. Loved it.
Oh.
She would copy their styles, try to capture what they were doing.
Interesting.
You could even say she brought that visual sensibility to her music later.
Okay, so the seeds of creativity were already there.
They were planted early.
But how did she go from visual art to music? What were those first steps?
Well, it all started with the ukulele.
Ah, how cute.
Right?
Little Joni Mitchell strumming away.
But she wasn't content with just simple melodies.
Of course not.
She wanted more. She sought out jazz and folk influences.
Really immersed herself in those genres.
She did.
So we see that intellectual curiosity.
Always pushing further.
It's in those coffee houses that her songwriting really starts to blossom.
Exactly. The coffee house scene was all about storytelling, raw emotion, connecting with the audience.
On a personal level.
Yeah. It shaped her, no doubt, her emphasis on lyrics, especially.
Lyrics that really get to you.
Yeah, straight to the heart.
But then comes a huge turning point.
Oh, yeah.
A decision that would impact everything.
For sure.
Giving up her daughter for adoption.
It's a choice that still resonates in her work, even decades later.
Definitely.
It's heartbreaking, no question. Yaffe handles it beautifully, though.
How so?
He explores the societal pressures, the limited options women had back then, the sense of loss Mitchell carried.
It's palpable in her music.
Isn't it?
An undercurrent of melancholy, even in her more joyful songs.
Yeah. That's a layer of complexity.
The real depth of feeling.
It pulls you in. And this is where Bob Dylan's influence comes in.
Ah, yes. Dylan?
Mitchell herself talked about how his personal narratives, his vulnerability, inspired her.
So we have all these converging influences.
It's like a recipe.
The prairies, the polio, the coffee houses, Dylan's honesty.
It all comes together.
It's like these threads are weaving this tapestry of her early work.
Beautiful imagery. And then boom.
What?
Judy Collins discovers both sides now.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's a huge moment.
One song launches her career.
Introduces her to the world.
Solidifies her place in music history.
It's still relevant today, isn't it?
It is.
A testament to her songwriting.
Timeless.
But I'm curious, what was she like as a performer in those early days?
Well, according to Yaffe, she was a bit giggly, a bit self-deprecating on stage.
Really? That's surprising.
I know, right? Especially with that powerful voice.
And those incredibly deep lyrics.
But even then, you could see that captivating stage presence emerging.
Those early glimmers of the icon she would become.
Exactly. The artist who could command a stadium with just her voice and guitar.
But before we get to that,
we have to talk about Laurel Canyon.
Laurel Canyon.
The epicenter of it all.
A creative explosion.
A haven for musicians and artists.
And a pivotal turning point for Joni Mitchell.
Absolutely.
It's where those relationships with David Crosby and Leonard Cohen really blossoms.
Two giants, each leaving their mark on her.
Both musically and personally, I imagine?
You could say that. Crosby, especially, played a crucial role.
In what way?
He championed her, introduced her to everyone in Laurel Canyon, helped her navigate the music industry.
It wasn't just professional, though, was it?
Not at all. They were lovers.
Their relationship, however tumultuous, clearly impacted her music.
No doubt.
Yeah.
It's around this time that Ladies of the Canyon comes out, an album steeped in that creative atmosphere.
Like a snapshot of a lost world.
Time of incredible creative energy.
Experimentation.
Exactly. And it's not just Crosby.
Right. Leonard Cohen.
We can't forget him.
With his poetic lyrics.
And his brooding intensity.
Had a brief but intense connection with Mitchell.
You can hear it in songs like Marcy. Pure storytelling.
And That House.
Oh, That House. More than just a house.
A creative hub.
The birthplace of so many iconic songs.
Mythical, almost.
Imagine the conversations, the jam sessions.
The late-night debates about art and life.
It's no wonder that period was so fertile for her. And it's in Laurel Canyon that her sound really starts to, well, evolve.
Yeah.
More piano, percussion, you know,
Right.
those jazz influences we talked about.
Yeah.
All leading to Blue.
Blue.
An album so raw.
So personal.
It changed everything, really.
I think we have to pause here.
Okay,
Blue is a turning point.
I agree.
Not just for Joni Mitchell, but for music.
For sure.
It's considered one of the greatest albums ever made.
And for good reason.
What is it about Blue that makes it so groundbreaking?
Well, you're right. It's a turning point.
Yeah.
Remember, this is the early 70s. Singer-songwriters were gaining popularity, but no one was writing with this level of vulnerability.
Like she peeled back her skin.
Exactly. And let us see right into her soul.
And it's not just the lyrics, is it?
No.
Musically, it's so sophisticated.
Absolutely.
Yaffe talks about her use of open tunings on the guitar.
Yeah, creating these unique soundscapes.
Almost haunting.
Can you talk a bit more about that?
Yeah, what's the deal with open tunings?
Well, the open tunings, they allowed her to create these complex chord voicings.
Okay.
You wouldn't be able to do that with standard tuning.
Right.
It's a technical thing, but it's so crucial
Tiny sound.
to the emotional depth of Blue.
Like
Yeah.
Little Green.
Yes.
That uses an open D tuning.
And those ringing open strings, they create this feeling
Of longing.
Yeah.
Fragility.
Perfectly complements the lyrics.
It's like she invented a new musical language.
And she uses it to express those raw emotions.
And it's not just personal stuff, right? Blue also touches on bigger issues like
Yeah, like the environment.
Big Yellow Taxi.
Exactly.
And that's what's so brilliant.
What's that?
She goes from these deeply personal moments to sharp social commentary.
All in the same album.
Seamlessly.
Big Yellow Taxi became an anthem.
For the environmental movement.
With its catchy melody.
And those lyrics.
Powerful lyrics.
They paved paradise and put up a parking lot.
Everyone knows that line.
It's the perfect example
Of what?
of her ability to take these complex issues
Yeah.
and distill them into these phrases
Memorable phrases.
that everyone remembers
He's a poet.
as much as a musician.
Absolutely.
And that ability,
To what?
to blend the personal and the political,
Right.
it becomes a hallmark of her work.
It does.
But back to the personal for a second.
Okay.
Yaffe really digs into those love affairs.
Oh, yeah, those tumultuous love affairs.
Early 70s,
Graham Nash,
James Taylor,
Annie Brown.
some of the biggest names in music.
all drawn to her.
And you can hear those relationships
Where?
in the music
Yeah.
songs, like A Case of You.
You turn me on, I'm a radio.
Right.
Absolutely.
Full of passion, joy, heartbreak.
All the messiness of love?
It fueled her creativity.
For sure.
But it wasn't just romantic love, was it?
No.
Yaffe talks about her relationship with her mother,
Right.
the grief over her daughter.
The search for meaning.
It's like she's taking all these threads,
Yeah.
human experience
Weaving them into this tapestry.
of music and emotion,
Beautiful.
and through it all, she's dealing with the music industry.
Oh, the music industry.
Yaffe doesn't shy away from the sexism
The exploitation.
that women faced.
Especially back then.
He quotes Mitchell as saying
What did she say?
that the music business was operated by crooks,
That's pretty harsh.
but honest.
Yeah.
She saw the machine,
The pressure to conform.
the compromises.
Especially for women.
It's amazing she kept her artistic integrity
It is.
in such a tough environment.
She did more than just keep it.
What do you mean?
She fought back
Really?
against producers
Who?
tried to control her,
Change her sound?
dilute it.
She insisted on creative control.
Always.
That independent spirit,
It's inspiring.
it's a reminder
Of what?
that artistic vision is worth fighting for.
I like that.
So we have all this incredible music.
Yes.
But then she retreats.
To British Columbia,
What happened?
it seems like she needed to escape.
From what?
The chaos of the music scene.
Makes sense.
Reconnect with nature.
Find some peace.
Explore those introspective themes.
The themes that had always been there.
Exactly.
And it's in British Columbia.
Right.
She creates For the Roses.
Ajira.
Both marked by this sense of
what?
solitude.
Exploration.
Can you talk about those albums?
Sure.
How do they reflect that period?
Oh, For the Roses is more inward looking.
Okay.
Reflecting her, her retreat.
Stepping back.
Yeah, but Hajira really stands out.
The title itself means
journey or flight. It's filled with these long stream of consciousness narratives.
like a musical travelogue.
Exactly.
And musically, she's still pushing boundaries.
Oh, absolutely.
Those open tunings are even more prominent.
Creating these wide open spaces.
Atmospheric.
Yeah.
She's also experimenting with longer song structures.
Bringing in more jazz elements.
Blurring the lines.
Between genres.
It's a bold album.
Some people found it challenging.
But it shows her evolution.
As an artist.
And it's during this time
Yeah.
that she really dives into jazz,
Headfirst.
collaborating with Jaco Pastorius.
Wayne Shorter.
Legends.
What drew her to them?
I think it was the improvisation.
The freedom to push beyond those traditional structures.
Pastorius especially.
He was a game changer.
A virtuoso
On the bass.
with a totally new approach.
So innovative.
He could match her,
What?
her complexity
Melodically.
harmonically,
Yeah.
adding this driving rhythm, richness.
To her music.
They spoke the same language,
Musically, yeah.
pushing each other further.
And then there's Mingus,
Mingus.
a tribute to Charles Mingus.
Talk about a bold move.
It's a fascinating album.
It is.
Often misunderstood.
How so?
Well, she had to set lyrics
To what?
to Mingus's final compositions.
Okay.
And those melodies, they were challenging.
Not your typical pop songs?
No, they were angular, far out.
And the critics?
They were divided.
Some loved it,
Some hated it.
accused her of being pretentious.
Of overreaching.
But I think it's one of her most courageous albums.
I agree.
It shows her willingness to take risks,
To explore.
to not be bound by expectations.
And that's what makes Joni Mitchell so great.
She's always evolving,
Experiment.
following her muse.
Wherever it leads.
So we've gone for the prairies to Laurel Canyon,
To blue.
the depths of blue.
Yeah.
Now let's fast forward a bit.
To the 80s.
The 80s. Synth pop, big hair, shoulder pads.
A whole new world, musically speaking.
How did Joni Mitchell fit into all that?
It's a complicated period for her.
In a way.
She embraced the technology,
Synths, drum machines,
Yeah, but she also wrestled with it.
that tension between
The electronic and the acoustic.
her roots.
You can hear it in albums like Dog Eat Dog.
Chalk mark in a rainstorm.
There are these moments of brilliance.
The lyrics, the harmonies, that's all still there.
But there's also this sense of,
Searching.
like she's trying to find a new sound.
But even while experimenting,
Right.
she never lost sight of her core values.
The honesty, the social commentary.
The willingness to challenge the status quo.
Dog Eat Dog is a great example.
Oh, yeah.
She takes on consumerism, political corruption.
The Reagan era,
She was never afraid to speak her mind.
even if it meant alienating fans.
Or the industry.
Do you think that outspokenness hurt her commercially?
It's possible.
The 80s were all about
The new sound.
synth pop.
Maybe the industry wasn't ready for her.
For her complexity,
Yeah.
but even if her albums weren't selling as well,
Right.
her influence was huge.
Sure.
Artists like Prince, Janet Jackson, they were sampling her music.
Recognizing her as a pioneer,
A visionary.
she paved the way for them.
Her legacy went beyond sales figures.
Absolutely.
She inspired generations.
With her harmonies, her lyrics.
Her fearlessness,
And in the 90s, she keeps evolving.
but staying true to herself.
Albums like Night Ride Home,
Turbulent Indigo,
they feel more mature.
more reflective.
Themes of aging, mortality.
Searching for meaning
In a world that's,
is delusioning.
there's a wisdom there.
In her later work,
A depth of emotion.
that comes with age, with experience.
She's still pushing boundaries.
She's still experimenting.
But there's also this sense of,
Acceptance.
like coming to terms with life's complexities.
Finding beauty in the chaos.
And then the reunion with her daughter adds a whole new layer to her story.
It's a powerful chapter.
Joy, pain, longing, reconciliation.
The theme of motherhood takes on new meaning.
In Taming the Tiger,
Shine.
it's like she's come full circle.
Facing the past, finding peace.
And even in her final years, facing health issues.
The aneurysm.
She never stopped creating.
That's the essence of Joni Mitchell, isn't it?
It is.
That creative spirit.
Unwavering.
The pursuit of art.
Relentless.
Refusing to be silenced.
To be defined by circumstance.
So Joni Mitchell.
Yeah.
She's more than just a singer-songwriter.
I've agreed.
She's a truth teller.
A visionary.
An artist who has touched so many lives.
With her music, her honesty.
Her commitment to being authentic.
Absolutely.
Her journey is inspiring.
It is.
It reminds us that vulnerability can be strength.
And that artistic truth is worth fighting for.
No matter the cost.
Exactly.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
Into the life and music of Joni Mitchell.
A fascinating journey.
We've explored her triumphs, her struggles,
her evolution,
her impact on music and culture.
She's left an indelible mark.
If this has sparked your curiosity,
please explore her work further.
You can find a link to Reckless Daughter by David Yaffe in the episode description.
A great read.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive,
be sure to subscribe,
share this episode,
and join us next time
for another deep dive
into the world of art and ideas.
Thanks for listening.